This is my parents' farm, and they inherited it from my grandparents. And it's probably been farmed in our family, at least for the past 3 generations. My name is Eric Simpson, and we're at Adildoo Farms near Shallow-Water, Texas, just right outside of Lubbock. We don't have the reliability of the same amount of water that we once did 10 years ago. That's a rude awakening.
The farm's wells draw from the Ogallala Aquifer, a source of water beneath parts of 8 states that is drying up. We use far more water from the aquifer each year than nature can put in. Scientists have predicted that by 2100, the Texas Panhandle region won't have enough water to irrigate crops at all.
It's a creeping disaster where, there's farmers on the thinner fringes of the aquifer that are, gradually seeing their water resource go away, and then they go away. And then the process repeats itself as the pool shrinks.
Some have called the situation a race to the bottom of the aquifer. What does that mean, and what does it mean for people who depend on it?
Sorry, that's a hard thing to hear. The people who are the most poor and who have the fewer resources are going to be the ones affected the most by that system.
The family has adopted new farming practices to conserve water and build healthy soil, which can capture and store more water.
We did mostly conventional farming, cotton mostly in this area, up until 2001, whenever my parents started to do an agritourism business. And mostly that was just because they were a little bit in debt from the production agriculture and wanted to try out some other things to pay the bills. And year after year, it just became more profitable. So now we're more of a small scale agriculture operation, about 100 acres, and do primarily and solely agritourism. The agritourism has been profitable enough that it's allowed us to take the risks with saying, well, we can lay out 50% of our farmland for prairie grass, which is not necessarily making us money.
The Simpsons started with a corn maze, but soon replaced the corn with a less thirsty plant. The Simpson family uses subsurface irrigation, sows cover crops to keep soil in place between growing seasons, and plants prairie grass on unfarmed acres in anticipation of adding livestock.
We also started seeing wildlife come in that we hadn't seen before. Bobwhite quail, which was amazing to see and to hear. We were seeing horned toads. I hadn't seen a horned toad since I was a kid. That initially was like this big light bulb moment of, well, we need to plant as much prairie grass as we possibly can on any land that we're not needing to make a living off of, and then perhaps begin to integrate that prairie grass into the larger farming operation. Some people also use the term regenerative agriculture, which is a little bit more complex. It involves not just your crop rotation and no-tilling, it also involves animal integration into your agriculture system. And so that's moving animals around your farm, like cows, sheep, goats, followed back behind with chickens, that are basically fertilizing your land as you're growing crops. My family gives me hope because they're willing to change as much as I want to change, and I would hope that the next generation even pushes my generation further and says, you thought you were doing enough, but you weren't. Here's how we can move forward. I get a lot of hope from younger people. They're not gonna put up with our bull crap, excuse the, they'll change it for the better, I hope. And then there are some evenings and mornings whenever the heat hasn't settled in yet, it's not 100 degrees yet, and I'm able to walk outside as the sun's coming up and see the prairie grass and see that that is a future. Yeah, there is stability in that. There's something that exists where I'm a part of it, but it doesn't necessarily need me. It could do just as well without me. That kind of gives me hope. All the other crops, they're screaming for help when it's August and it's 100+ degrees. So I like the things that feel like they're resilient.
That's just one farmer's story, and we've got others to tell from the people who grow our food and fiber. Their livelihoods and ours depend on water. Subscribe to see more of Sustain the Plains, and share Eric's story with your friends and neighbors. We're all in this together.